Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It's Monday, March 20th. My name is Alan, and I want to welcome you to my Spiritual Growth Through Recovery podcast. Hope everyone had a great weekend, is ready for the work week, or those who work just during the week. The purpose of these videos is to grow my spirituality through following the AA program of recovery. And I want to do that by being honest, vulnerable, and accountable. And that's kind of why I make these videos. It makes me kind of dig in and do some work, right? Not an expert in AA, recovery, or spirituality. It's just my experience on this journey, all right? So what we do here is we read the daily reading from the AA Daily Reflections book, and I'll share my take on it, and anything else that has inspired me or anything I'm struggling with. All right? Okay, cool. So today, I said, is March 20th, so we're going to start with that. Love and tolerance. That's going to be our topic today. Love and tolerance. Love and tolerance of others is our code. I have found that I have to forgive others in all situations to maintain any real spiritual progress. The vital importance of forgiving may not be obvious to me at first sight, but my studies tell me that every great spiritual teacher has insisted strongly upon it. I must forgive injuries, not just in words or as a matter of form, but in my heart. I do this not for the other person's sake, but for my own sake. Resentment, anger, or desire to see someone punished are things that rot my soul. Such things fasten my troubles to me with chains. They tie me to other problems that have nothing to do with my original problem. Excellent reading today. Excellent reading today. So love, tolerance, and really forgiveness, right? That's kind of what we're talking about here. So now as I'm reading this, I look at the first sentence where it talks about love and tolerance is our code. Right? What does that mean? Right? So I'm really big about definitions. And I look up love. What is love? I mean, it's a feeling and it's an action. I guess in this sense, I look at it as an action, right? Some definitions would be to hold dear, cherish, or appreciate. To me, it's caring for someone genuinely, right? And what's tolerance? What does it mean to tolerate somebody or something? What I like is the willingness to allow something we don't agree with. So we're going to run across a lot of people, a lot of political views, a lot of opinions that we don't agree with. And tolerating is go, all right, okay, we just allow it, okay? And then code, a system of principles or rules. So if I was to rephrase that, love and tolerance is our code, I would phrase it as to hold dear and show willingness to allow others to be themselves, even though we may not agree with parts of them, because we should, okay? It's just something we don't want to, but it's good for us. And it's good. I think it's important for us to do things that are the right thing, even though we don't want to do them. And so we can be, when we're not tolerant, loving, we're judgmental. And that does nobody any good, especially me. All right. And like I said, the have to part of it, have to forgive for spiritual progress. And I don't have to do anything, but the spiritual gift that will not be received if I don't do that. And so I know when they originally wrote a big book, they tried to get rid of the terms like have to, need to, should, and they replaced it with should, suggested. Here they say have to, and I think there's a reason for that. If you want the spiritual gifts, if you want the peace, you want the freedom, you got to do these things. And if you don't, we talk about resentments being the number one offender, you're not going to get those spiritual gifts. And so I think that's a real important thing. I struggle to love and tolerate myself and forgive myself. Really, doing my fourth and fifth step now, that's something that's coming up, is how hard it is for me to forgive myself. I do this for the other person's sake, not for my own. I do this not for the other person's sake, but for my own. I've heard of forgiving someone lets us both off the hook. When we're not forgiving somebody, then we can blame that other person, right? It's on them. And then it like where it talks about, it rots the soul. It's like a chain that holds you back. It's very freeing to forgive and tolerate. I had to do that a lot with my ex-wife. I didn't like the way that, she did act in a lot of circumstances. Okay, okay, all right. I just can tolerate those things. Right? And then on page another reference where this comes up is, like when you go through your fourth and fifth step, when you see someone's actions you don't like, it talks on page 466 of the big book. We realize that the people who wronged us were perhaps spiritually sick. And when you go through your fourth and fifth step, at least for me, you share your resentment. It results two things. One, I have to accept what's my part in this thing. And if I really didn't have a part to play, pray for that person because maybe they're spiritually sick. So once again, that lets them and myself off the hook. All right. I guess now from a personal perspective, I'll be finishing my 5th step here um, real soon, and I'm having trouble forgiving myself. I'm not really sure why that is. I guess I'm seeing behaviors that I know I shouldn't be engaging in, and I still am. And I think the fact that it just keeps, I can't stop, and that makes it hard to forgive when it just repeats itself. But I need to, because I'm just kind of sabotaging myself when I don't forgive myself. I'm realizing I expect too much of myself. And like I said, I'm tired of repeating the same behaviors over and over again. If I can't forgive myself yet, maybe I can ask for the willingness to forgive myself. And then that's something my sponsors kind of keeps bringing it up. Ask for the willingness, Alan. Ask for the willingness. And I think I need to ask for the willingness because I'm hard no. And I'm feeling maybe stuck because I'm not forgiving myself for my actions. So what are some things that I struggle to forgive myself over? My actions at work. Maybe I'm staying at work when I shouldn't, and I'm doing that out of fear. I don't like my actions there. My repeated relapse. Man, I relapsed so many times the past 13 years, and I just can't forgive myself for that. There's some other things on my 4th step, that some fears, some other habits that I'm engaging in. I just can't forgive myself for, because, like I said, it just keeps repeating. And ultimately, I do want them to change. At least I think I do. And maybe that's why I'm so hard on myself, because if I just allow it to go, well, okay, so it happened, move on, and then maybe I opens the door to repeat it again. If I'm hard on myself, maybe I'll take it more seriously. But at the same time, I'm not forgiving myself, if that makes any sense. So I think forgiveness is going to really be something I'm going to think more about with my sponsor. Anyway, so that's my take. So again, happy Monday. I want to encourage you for yourself to be aware of any resentments or anger that you're experiencing. And if you do that mental step back and just become aware, like, whoa, I'm feeling this. Either you write it down or share it with somebody. And then if you're struggling to forgive them, if you're, it's kind of like the 5th step. See what your part is in it. If you don't have any, just see them as a spiritually sick person, just like we all are. We're not better or worse than anybody else. So I want to encourage you to go through your day, look for the gratitude and the blessings, and let go of those resentments, and love and tolerate anyone and everyone that you can come in contact with, because that makes us feel better. So anyway, thank you for listening, and have a wonderful Monday.